Welcome to another Dial the Wild beer review. We will be releasing the next podcast on Wednesday, Valentine's Day. Did not plan it that way, but that's how it's going to go.
Hey.
Hey, yo. So, that podcast will be talking about the Super Bowl a little bit. Not much to talk about. Chiefs won again, whatever. Waste Management Open, Scottsdale, Arizona. The Live event in Las Vegas. We talk a little bit about Chip
Vegas
Kelly.
is just kind of popping this year.
Yeah, it was popping, dude. You had Live Golf. You had the Super Bowl. You had the mayor of Las Vegas telling everybody that we don't want the Oakland A's. It's been a great couple of weeks for Las Vegas. Update on the Cannon. If you remember the episodes about the Curious Case of the Cannon, we do have a short and relatively okay finish to the query of the Cannon. And then we talk about WIU basketball, Cabin Fever Open coming up. So we're going to be doing some putt-putt and some music trivia this Saturday. I brought on good friends Neil Armstrong and Spencer McCutcheon to help us with that. And that's going to be a great time. So check out Dial the Wild on YouTube. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and then you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Buzzsprout, Stitcher. You like podcasts, you can usually find us somewhere. So, with that being said, it's the moment you've all been waiting for.
I've been waiting.
You've been waiting? You've been waiting patiently, and you're doing a great job.
It's what I do, I guess.
So, this week's beer.
Oh man.
Snap. Yep, that just happened.
That's a familiar one for me.
Go ahead and talk about this beer, Seth. You're the one that likes it a lot more than me. I like it, but not as much as he does.
So this here, Cherry Bomb Blondie.
Front Street Brewery, Davenport, Iowa.
It's a darker one, for sure.
Cherry ale with natural flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Ingredients of water, hop, barley, yeast, and natural cherry flavor.
That's a relatively small ingredients list. I like that.
So, we went to that beer show last year, and there were a handful of beers that we really, really liked. And if we do that again this year, we're going to have to come back with like a list of our favorite beers from that show.
Ooh, that'd be a big
That'd be a good, that would be a really
cool.
Yeah, so we're going to do that at some point.
That's gonna happen.
But this was one of the beers that like we just kept going back to.
I actually had this for the first time in the basement of your old house.
Yeah. Yep, I think I drank a handful of those.
Yeah, it's very dark, almost like a dark chocolate bitter, but more sweet, I think. And
it's a chocolate covered cherry, dude.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, but it's not overly stout or lagery, you know. It does have a little...
It does have a water taste.
Well, it does have a little bit of a dark chocolate bite to it, but
5.4%.
It's covered up by the cherry extract and the little bit of... It's like a light... I think it's part of the barley that kind of gives it an ale finish.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoy this beer, and it's made not too far from here. And
it's definitely much like I think all of the other beers we've had on here. It's a sipper. It's definitely a sipper.
Yeah, you don't want to pound these. We haven't had a beer that
I
don't know that we need to review beers that you can pound, because then it's just like, trust me, after about 30 of these, they get really good, and we don't need to be.
Yeah, it's Front Street Brewery.
FrontStreetBrew.com. Brew.com. And it's a good beer. It's very decent. We will be continuing to enjoy these.
Pulled pork nacho challenge. That sounds pretty cool. If you can eat 5 pounds of our delicious pulled pork nachos, including 2 pounds of pulled pork and 1 pound of homemade tortilla chips, topped with it jumped.
Oh man!
With nacho cheese, lime sour cream sauce, roasted corn, jalapenos, and pico de gallo. De gallo?
Pico de Gallo.
Yep, in 30 minutes, you'll live on forever in Front Street glory and get your picture on the Pork Nacho Challenge Wall of Fame, the Pork Nacho Challenge Champion Tee, and you'll get the meal for free.
Wow, that sounds like a good way to throw up.
If not, your pick goes on the wall of shame and you owe us $35+ in tax.
We need a number.
Whoa.
I'm going to do the scramble in my head here.
You know, I think I'd give this like a 7.2.
I was at a 7.5.
Yeah, that was my initial thought.
It's right in. It's like right in the wheelhouse of the ones that we really enjoy. So.
This one for me, it's definitely not my favorite in taste, but I recognize it, I see it, I'm like, yeah, I like that one.
I like that.
I would go for it out of a lot of the other ales for sure.
So it's kind of like the last one we did with the distill peach ale.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to sit there and drink 30 of them, but I mean, it's a good beer. I would drink it again. So, if you would drink it again, it usually is going to be better than a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And the best beer you ever had for me was a Guinness in Ireland several years ago. That would be a 10 out of 10 for me. And giving these beers 7 and 8s out of 10 is not easy for me, but this one I would give like a 7.5. So, all right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Check out the new episode. Pop over to the YouTube, and we will catch you later. Thank you.